Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
I'm the chosen one.
And I'm Amber Churchwell.
And we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. We are here today to discuss the 6th movie in the Harry Potter series, the Wizarding World franchise. That movie is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Before I get Amber and Brittany's thoughts on the Half-Blood Prince, I'm going to hit you with some Half-Blood Prince facts. That's actually tough to say. Half-Blood Prince facts. Anyway, the release date for this movie, July 15th, 2009. A box office of $934 million. It was the second highest grossing movie of 2009. Do y'all want to venture a guess at what was number 1 in 2009?
I don't even remember where I was in 2009.
Okay.
So yeah, I know.
Not only here's a hint. Not only was this movie the number 1 movie of 2009, it's still the number 1 highest grossing movie of all time.
Of
all time.
idea.
Titanic. I don't know.
No, it's Avatar. Avatar.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Little note about Avatar. Avatar was actually, it made $2.7 billion in its original run. And then Avengers Endgame came out in 2019, passed it. Then they re-released Avatar and it made an additional $200 million. And now it's regained its spot. It's now $2.9 billion for Avatar. So almost $3 billion for a movie that I haven't seen. Brittany, have you seen that movie?
And kind of under the influence, but not like that.
Okay.
Why are we talking so much about Avatar? We're here for Harry Potter. Also,
talking about box office.
No, let's not talk about that.
All
anymore.
about the cash.
Also, it came out the day before my birthday.
What's that?
My July 16th is my birthday.
Oh, okay, cool.
I remember that. I remember that summer.
That's awesome.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Quick shout out to Nick and Claire, all the way from the UK, walking with the woods. Oi, oi. Howdy. I never say howdy, so that's a special thing that y'all got in the chat and live.
Brittany, you and I live in Texas. We both live in Houston. We're the most country bumpkins around.
No,
we're not.
No, we're not.
We live in a very big.
You do say y'all.
Y'all. We do say
well,
y'all.
that's like proper.
Yeah.
Hey, Arizona counts as the South too, and
that's true.
And I don't use y'all. That's a you thing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Nick says that they would never say howdy either. So that's fair. Y'all live in the UK. It's fine. Yeah. Cheerio.
So the budget for the movie was $250 million, which it makes it the most expensive Harry Potter film. And at the time, it was one of the most expensive films ever made. Of course, that was right before the superhero boom, and now it's like barely in the top 30. But it's $250 million still a nice chunk of change. Runtime 2 hours 33 minutes. The director is David Yates. Of course, he directed Order of the Phoenix, the previous movie. He would go on to direct Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, and he also would direct all 3 of the Fantastic Beasts movies. So David Yates liked him some Wizarding World movie action.
He liked them galleons, all right? Let's just be real. He liked them galleons.
Go. Yep.
Yeah.
And now the cast. Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Helena Bonham Carter, Jim Broadbent, Michael Gambon, Maggie Smith, Robbie Coltrane, Alan Rickman, Tom Felton, and David Thewlis. Amber, I want to get your thoughts first. What do you think about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince?
Me and Brittany were mentioning it before off chat that it's a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I actually really love this movie. There are a lot of things in it that they did like add or not include that were in the books that were kind of important. Like when we get to like the Horcrux and Dumbledore's lessons with Harry and things, like there are details like that were not included. So that is a little bit of a bummer. But overall, I just really like this movie just because when rewatching it earlier today, there's just small little things that it's so awkward and silly that it just kind of, I felt like it made the pace a little bit better, especially compared to the last film. Like it just felt a little bit like, okay, yeah, there's enough conflict, but silliness and interaction to keep me occupied and actually interested. And along with, the serious, actual plot-driven things, there's like all the love drama.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all that stuff. So Brittany, you mentioned before, again off camera, that this is your favorite Harry Potter movie. Also, like Amber said, why is it your favorite?
There's just something so different about it in the sense that these kids have grown up, right? They're not the 11-year-olds that we saw from the very first movie. They're 16. They're 16 and older, and they're really still immature, but they're maturing at the same time. They're starting to become more aware about their feelings towards the opposite sex. And it's always such an awkward stage in life for teenagers and liking people and starting relationships. And I don't know, I I felt seen. Let's put it that way, right? Like I was an awkward teenager. I'm still awkward, just not a teenager. But there's something very relatable about what the kids are going through and the fact that it's just fun. I just absolutely love this movie. The humor in this movie. I love the addition of Jim Broadbent as Professor Horace Slughorn. Fun fact, that character and I shared the same birthday, and we're both Slytherins. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That being said, y'all who are watching us, thank you so much for watching us. Leave an emoji and show off your house pride in the chat. So yeah, that'd be fun. But all in all, I understand why people don't particularly care for this movie, but I think because of the fact that it does focus a lot on the kids like growing up and having like the awkwardness happen, and it kind of takes a little bit away from not so much the plot line, but is it too heavy on the relationship? I think you kind of have to break up the darkness that's going on in this.
Mhm.
And by darkness, I mean theme darkness. Not so
Dark
much
magic. Yeah.
visuals. Thank you, dark magic. You gotta have some humor in it. Take Diagon Alley, for example. Everything's pretty much dead, closed off, but you have Weasley Wizard Wheezes, bright colors and fun and just, bringing light to people's day. That's how I view this movie. It's funny, it's fun. It comes after Order of the Phoenix, which is not my favorite movie. That's also an unpopular opinion by many, but hey, I'm not here to follow mainstream. I'm here to shake things up. So let's shake.
So I'm not as versed in the wizarding world as both of y'all are, but I like this movie. I think this movie is really good. First off, no Dursleys, so that's always that's one of my like boxes I have to check. And if you
I
check
was
that
waiting for
box,
it.
yeah, no, that's very good. Also, this movie, the film looks amazing, and this movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Cinematography, and it really shows. Unfortunately, didn't win. Can you guess which movie won from 2009?
Avatar.
Avatar. Avatar won for that also. Yeah. So Brittany, you have another reason to not like Avatar. So that's it. Also, I liked how the movie opens, where you have the Death Eaters. They're destroying London's Millennium Bridge, and it's just kind of cool for me to see the magical characters in the modern, real world or Muggle world, if you will. So I thought that's kind of a cool, because we really didn't see that in the previous movies. Like even when they were like not at Hogwarts, they were in very much places that were kind of bland and didn't really stand out as like modern or anything current. So I like that part of it.
I really quick want to mention about the bridge.
Sure.
It's just like some differences between like obviously in the book and the movie, because we like to mention those. In when we see them destroying the Millennium Bridge, it appears that all of the Muggles that were on the bridge got out relatively safely. Like it appears that they were able to get out. Nope. In the book, a lot of people died. A lot of Muggles died in that. And the attack on hi Mom. My mom's in the chat, guys.
The attack on Hi Mom, yes.
Sorry. The attack in Diagon Alley and Ollivander's and taking, kidnapping my dear sweet Ollivander. They attacked many of those shops, and like Flourish and Fortescue, Florian was killed. Like the ice cream shop owner, he was yeah, he was unalived. And it's
I've heard an interesting theory about why, but that's really deviating from everything. But yeah.
maybe like at the end we can like
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was very, very interesting seeing all of those that this movie does show a lot of darkness, and we see like something very, very serious happening to Katie Bell and Ron, and obviously,
You mean
Dumbledore.
Wan?
Wan.
Okay, I was going to ask y'all just real quick. Why does she call him Wan?
Like it's like a baby way of saying Ron, like Ron.
Oh,
Wan.
I never got that. I was like,
It's
is it because
like
of
the
Quidditch
accent
stuff? Or okay, go ahead.
No, that's my Wan. Like, oh my, that's my baby. Like, oh my god. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
I would have never figured that out.
Just
so thanks for letting me
teasing him.
Bless you.
But I just thought it was really interesting that like, yeah, we are showing some really dark, serious things, but we're not showing it as dark and serious as it actually is. So I thought that that was interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. There's the Millennium Bridge was cool. I've actually seen it in person because I've been to London. I encourage everyone to go. Yeah, a little bit. I've also been in the London studio tour. Have I mentioned that before? Just kidding. But showing that scene and showing now how integrated these worlds really are going to be, right? It's not just about the magical world. It's Voldemort is going to take over, period. And it doesn't matter who you are, blood status or not. He's here, right? And Death Eaters are going to do whatever it takes to help him achieve that goal of just taking over. And yeah, there's differences, that was just like a little glimpse kind of from the book that's hardly mentioned in the book. There's a different introduction of the Muggle Prime Minister with the Minister of Magic. That conversation is really interesting, but I like how they adapted this visual, because I think the visual is more powerful in the sense of seeing the destruction of something from the Muggle world versus like hearing a conversation between two ministers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it starts off strong in that sense, and it's like, oh, stuff's about to get real in this next chapter of Harry Potter.
So had both of y'all read this book before you saw this movie?
Oh yeah.
Time?
Oh, for sure.
Amber?
I am going to say yes, but I genuinely don't remember.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, so like Brittany, secondly, you mentioned Voldemort. So there's no Voldemort in this film. I mean, his presence is definitely felt throughout the movie, but to not have the main villain in the sixth film, that's a strong choice. I mean, they made it work, but on paper, I think that's kind of a gutsy move to do that.
Not only did they remove Voldemort character from the movie, I mean, you get a version of Voldemort, not quite Voldemort,
flashbacks,
but,
memories,
flashbacks of little Tom Riddle in the orphanage. They also chose to remove what I think is a really significant part of the book, which is learning more about Tom Riddle's family history, the Gaunt family, and their direct descendants of Salazar Slytherin, and them being able to speak Parson tongue. Merope, who is Tom Riddle's mother, learning about her and what she did in order to get the very attractive Tom Riddle to notice her, because she apparently wasn't very attractive. She put him under a love spell and, got him that way. And then Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort, was conceived, and then she finally broke the spell and he left her because he's like, I don't want to be with you. And that broke her heart. She gave birth and took Tom Riddle to the orphanage in London, and she died. Like, all of that, I feel, would have been so important to convey why Voldemort is the way that he is. There's a theory that maybe he's unable to love because he was conceived under a love spell. Take that for what you will. But I think learning more about his family history, which was very detailed in the book, which those are some of my favorite chapters. Yeah. And that not to be in this movie, and it's just kind of brushed over about how Dumbledore got the ring, belonged to Voldemort's grandfather. That's it. That's all you got. And I'm like,
it just says Voldemort's mom.
Or
just says
Voldemort's mom.
Voldemort's
Yeah,
mother.
right,
And it's
right.
like he doesn't even say her name. And like in the thing, we see memories. We see memories. We see Merope. We see not just the orphanage, but we also see like we do see Voldemort's grandfather, Tom's grandfather, Marvolo, Riddle, and her brother, and like we see all of that, and we don't. And also what Voldemort ends up doing once he like realizes everything, he does go and he kills the Riddles. Like he kills his father and he kills his grandparents and steals a ring. Yeah, like
and the locket.
Yeah, like that's how they establish here that the Horcruxes are made by murder, and half of the murders that caused these Horcruxes are not even discussed ever.
No.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting choice for them to not elaborate on the Gaunts, Voldemort's family, to elaborate on like the Horcruxes. And I mean, yes, you get the glimpse of like, oh, well, how do you make one? Murder. Okay, cool. But like, you don't get the nitty gritty of who and why, because you also get flashbacks of Voldemort as a young man and him trying to get a job at Hogwarts. He wants to be the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Mm-hmm. And Dumbledore's like, no, don't think so. Don't think that's going to happen. And Voldemort's like, well, screw this. I'm going to curse this position forever. And that is why every year we get a new data teacher. But again, you don't get that from the movie. Like, yeah, I would have liked
Justin, do you have closure now of why we get a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher every year?
I literally just learned that right now in real time. So that is interesting. Welcome. And there wasn't one in this movie, right? They never talked about that in this movie.
No, it's Snape.
Well, Snape, yeah.
Oh, it's still Snape. Okay, from the previous movie.
Well, it's not still. He finally got it.
Oh, he finally got it. Okay. Yeah.
In the previous movie, it was Dolores
Umbridge.
Okay, so he's elevated from the potions master or whatever to okay. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you're mentioning a lot of stuff from the book you think should have been in the movie. Now the movie was 2.5 hours. So what would y'all take out in order to fit all this Tom Riddle goodness in?
Oh, I'll let Amber answer that one.
I mean, I as much as I love like the developments and silliness and goofiness, there are some bits that might not have been necessary in lieu of the plot. Like you could have mentioned really, really important things instead of having, even though it's very funny, having Harry and Ron in their dorm awkwardly talking about girls' skin.
Yeah. Okay.
Like those minutes might have been used towards something else. And also, while we're talking about the differences between the book and the films, the burning of the burrow. Brittany and I were talking about it earlier today. That does not happen in the books. The only reason that they did it was because they wanted to show that Harry is vulnerable. They can, like, the Death Eaters can get Harry. It was like, to show that, like, hey, yeah, he's the chosen one, but like they could have gotten him at any time. They really need to step up their precautions and their safety measures and being wise. But also, it was also kind of a placeholder throughout the entire books. We do see like news articles and clippings and things of Death Eaters attacking wizarding communities. But we don't, in the films, we don't really get to see that. So they did it by showing an attack on a wizarding home. Mm-hmm. So that's something that's not even in the book. So I guess take that out.
Yeah.
That's going to be my.
Can we take out all of the awkward encounters between Harry and Ginny? Because they just have no chemistry whatsoever. I know it's in the book. I mean, I know it's in the book, but on screen, it's just so bad.
It's so devastating because Ginny in the book is such a phenomenal character. She's a spitfire. She's energetic. She's great. Like, she's a heartthrob. Like, boys are falling all over her. And it's not just Dean Thomas and Harry. It is a good portion of the male population of the school.
Yeah.
And
book Ginny and book Ron are a lot better than the movie versions.
Something happened where translating it into film, they just put a wet towel over all of the Weasleys. I don't know what happened.
It ain't
but
it.
yeah,
Well,
like all of the interactions.
The Weasleys are too hot in the books, right? So you gotta tamp them down.
Terrible. Didn't happen in the book.
I
So,
guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brittany.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, to take out what we have in the movie to bring in the story about the Gaunts and what have you. I mean, when we learn about the Gaunts, it's through the lessons with Dumbledore, so put them there. That's where they belong. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't understand the reasoning to remove that bit of information, because it would just kind of help you understand Voldemort's character a little bit more. Yeah. Just like how I said, with movie 3, you don't know who the Marauders are because they never elaborate on it. It's like, that's vital information. That's crucial. Anyway, I'm gonna digress, but there's definite things like what Amber mentioned that you can remove. I think they could have removed the Slug Club holiday party. As fun as that is, it's cute interaction as that. Maybe the whole point of that is to show that, like, Snape knows that Draco's up to something. He's offering help to Draco, and it's more or less to get confirmation that Draco is working for the Dark Lord. And Harry, like, had that hunch, and him overhearing that conversation after the Slug Club party is just that. It's just confirmation. So if you took out the whole Slug Club as a whole, I think you could have replaced those minutes with, like, the supporting Gaunt family information. Right. But
yeah, and it's not even just the Gaunt stuff that was taken out too. Like, the entire plot line with Tonks and Remus was taken out.
Yeah.
We assume that they're dating now, but she still has the brown hair of sadness. Like, makes no sense.
Because of Sirius' death, in case people are wondering.
Yeah, like, it was because, well, it was that, and also because, Remus was like, I'm too old for you and I don't want to date you. But then
also,
they're
together.
Yeah. And they're together now, and they don't really talk about that at all. We kind of just, since she calls him sweetheart, we just kind of had to assume. But it's like, and Teddy doesn't exist in the future, I guess. And well, he doesn't.
Not yet. Spoilers, God.
I could be talking about her dad.
That's true. That's true.
But there's that, and then also we don't find out anything that, like, they don't mention that Fenrir Greyback is a werewolf and the one who turned Remus. Like, that's not discussed.
Nope. There's just a lot of little things. Yeah, I mean, we could sit here and dissect and, like, go chapter for chapter of, like, what was not included, of course. However, what they did include in the sense of continuing the storyline of Voldemort and Dumbledore. And I know Amber has very strong feelings about the lessons with Dumbledore and Harry. It's just, I have
so many thoughts.
I've read the book so many times. I've listened to the book so many times. I've watched the movie so many times. You cannot make me a diehard Dumbledore fan, because there's something that Snape will say to Dumbledore that we'll see in the final movie. And I agree with him. You basically raised him, Harry, for slaughter. Dumbledore, my dude, you are so wise. Like, why are you making this boy, like, work for the information? Like, just give him the information. You give him a task, help him. My God.
And going on to that, one of the things that actually was kind of bothering me, and I mentioned it to you earlier today, was we have all of this focus on getting Slughorn's memory, the true memory,
right?
When the lessons could have been so much more detailed and entering and actually, like, Horcrux involved, because Dumbledore already theorized about Horcruxes.
Yeah,
he already had that theory.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you harassing Slughorn and then making Harry go on, like, endless things to be collected by Slughorn just to like go on these like. Why are you giving him side quests? Give him. He's the main character. Give him the main quest. It doesn't.
It's so that he could drink the Felix Felicis, and we can see the wonderful encounter that he has with Slughorn and at Aragog's funeral, and they're talking about it's not to mention the pincers.
Yeah.
That frighten people. One of my favorite parts of this whole entire movie.
It's so funny.
I do have to mention, I'm pretty sure it is this movie, but Dan Radcliffe was pretty wasted throughout filming, and you can kind of see it in certain scenes. He's openly admitted to the fact that he doesn't rewatch any of his work, but it's very painful for him to even attempt to watch Half-Blood Prince because he knows the state of mind that he was in at the time and state of being, and he's like, yeah, that performance is really difficult.
How old was he at the time they filmed this movie?
18.
Like, okay.
18 because I was 18 at that time, or beyond 18, probably. But it's legal in the UK to drink.
There you go. Okay.
At 18. Nick and Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the legal age. Over here in America, it's 21. But whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all touched on a lot of stuff. We're gonna get to all that stuff. But the last thing, like my last main point that I think really is the reason why I like this movie is there is an Empire Strikes Back. There's an Avengers Infinity War kind of feel to the film because the villains end up winning this movie.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads me to the title of the movie. And again, spoiler for a movie that's been out for 14 years. But, the title of the movie is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Snape is the Half-Blood Prince. So let's get into that. I've only seen this movie twice, and I forgot about that little part of it because I thought Harry was the Half-Blood Prince the whole time. I'm like, God, this kid's the chosen one. He's like, he has all these nicknames, and now he's the Half-Blood
You're partially
Prince.
right. You're partially right because he is considered a half-blood.
Mm-hmm.
Because his father is pure blood wizard, but his mother was muggle born, making him a half-blood.
Okay.
But it was the reverse for Snape. Now, again, you don't get this information from the movie because they didn't include it from the book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was Snape's mother who was the witch, and her maiden name is Prince.
Yeah.
Well,
Half-Blood Prince.
I got to say, rewatching this movie last night, I was like stunned. I was like, oh my God, he's the Half-Blood Prince. I was like, it's like, this is amazing. Then of course he turns heel. He kills Dumbledore, which RIP to Dumbledore. I feel like we're going to see him. I feel like we're going to see him again though, but,
Boo-hoo. Sorry.
But I just want to highlight the exchange between Harry after Snape kills Dumbledore. And the villains are getting away. The Death Eaters and Bellatrix and Draco and
God, I love her.
Snape are getting away, and Harry's like trying to fight him. He's like, "Fight back, you coward! Fight back!" That was a really good scene. I think that Alan Rickman. I mean, he's awesome, obviously, in all these movies. But like, this was a really strong. I mean, he's not in a ton of the movie, but like, he has really strong scenes at the end of this movie. Amber, what are your thoughts on Alan Rickman and then just Snape in general in this movie?
All of it was just so great because Harry had suspicions about Draco, but this whole granted the whole series right from jump he's like this kid's sketchy, but it was always it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Every single year he's like, Draco's involved, and it never was Draco until the year that it mattered. And nobody would believe him because all the years previous, it never really was Draco. So the 1 year mattered. But going along with that, we do see him trying to talk to Remus to Lupin about Snape. Like, Snape was talking to Draco, and I think that Draco's involved with this. Like, he was trying to come up with something, and everyone's like, hey, if you trust Dumbledore, then you got to trust Snape because he trusts him. And so that last scene in the tower when Dumbledore tells him to go and hide and not to be seen. There's that moment with Alan Rickman with and looking at Dan Rad and looking at and just going, just be quiet. And he trusts him because everybody around him, including Dumbledore, is just like, you got to trust Snape. You trust Snape, trust Snape, trust me. Like, it's just how it is and it's devastating.
I trusted him too. That's the problem, Amber. I trusted him, and then I got double crossed, and I didn't see it coming, even though I've seen the movie before many years ago.
And the performance of we all know that Brittany and I very much have a soft spot for Draco. We're Slytherins. Can't blame us.
Right.
But
he's a prat. He's a prat, but yeah.
Yeah, like, we're not saying that he's a great guy. No. There are problems with him. But it's just like his mom says in the beginning of the movie before the unbreakable vow. He's just a boy, just like Harry. Like, he was created, his character is created to be a foil of Harry.
Right.
He's just a petulant child. It's fine,
And it's just so much just that I can't, that he's seeing him talk to Dumbledore, and Dumbledore just trying to be like, I knew a boy who made all the wrong choices. Like, I can help you. And
really, Dumbledore? Really?
That's what Dumbledore does. Okay. See, this is another thing that I have against Dumbledore. Is Dumbledore yeah, he collects people who are lost, who are hurting, who are troubled, as long as they can be beneficial to him in the future. That's why he didn't collect Sirius. That's why he let Sirius rot in Azkaban, because Sirius did not benefit Dumbledore in any way, so he didn't help him. And same thing with Draco, like, because he's known this entire year that Draco was up to something, and he didn't do anything until the very last second. It was kind of like a hollow offer that it's just, he didn't offer. Deep. Yeah, these are the things that I think about and that irritate me about my mental thesis of Dumbledore. But
got to be something.
But I do genuinely feel like that his entire his offer to help Draco was hollow.
Without a doubt.
And I just feel so bad because Draco is very clearly scared. Yeah, he doesn't want to do this, but Voldemort's living in his house. His dad is in jail. His he is very, I don't think he's dumb. I think he's very aware of the fact that he was given this mission as punishment for his dad screwing up at the Ministry of Magic and the Department of Mysteries with the prophecy. That this is like his chance to try and fix his family's screw ups. Otherwise, like he said, Voldemort's going to kill him if he doesn't kill Dumbledore.
Yep.
Hey, Corey.
Yeah. So I want to give a quick shout out to those who have joined us in the chat. I just popped up here for Corey, Amber's producer extraordinaire. If you haven't seen the banners already, Amber has a YouTube channel here on all things wand lore from the Wizarding World. So go check that out. All of her social media descriptions, or rather her social media's info is in the description box down below. Also want to give a shout out to Bricky Hallows. What's up? Thank you so much for being here. Also Caleb who shared that favorite movie is Deathly Hallows Part 2. Half-Blood Prince does not happen to be the favorite. That's okay. That's fine. No worries. And also shout out to Julie. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And also Mama Churchwell. Thank you so much for being here too.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody checking us out for the for the 7th or 8th time or the first time, whatever. We appreciate it all the same. So hopefully you enjoy it and you come back for more.
Hit the like button, subscribe.
That helps. That's a really key thing to what we're doing here. So yeah,
really
please like and subscribe. That always helps us out. A little bit ago, we're talking about Horcruxes, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you will. So this is the first movie where Horcruxes is mentioned, or mentioned, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But not when they're seen.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes, you're right. So,
So
we've
we do
seen
see them.
Horcruxes.
We just
Right.
don't
in
know
previous
what they
movies.
are.
We just didn't know what
Yes.
the name. Okay.
Bingo.
So at the end of this movie, we're made to believe that they're like, so we've seen 2 of them that have been destroyed previously, right? Tom
Mhm.
Riddle's diary and
The
there's
ring.
a ring, right? So that
The
means
Marvolo ring.
4 are still out there. Is that how that works?
It's believed that there are 4 more
Okay.
because 2 down. Because we'll get into that when we talk about Deathly Hallows. But yeah, there's believed to be
there's
several
supposed
more.
to be. He did talk about in the memory with Slughorn. He did talk about 7. So the kind of guesswork is right now that there's the core body of Voldemort, Tom,
Yes.
whatever. Then there's the diary from Chamber of Secrets, the Marvolo ring, and the other ones are mysteries.
Yeah, something like that.
So we got
Figure it out.
we got 3 that we know of. The
Yeah.
other 4 are
A mystery.
I appreciate it.
for
'Cause
now.
Horcruxes sound cool. I know they're a big part of the Harry Potter lore, but when I'm watching the movie, I was kind of confused about, okay, what are these MacGuffin magical things that are out there? And
Yeah.
that was a little confusing.
Yeah. No, but that's exactly what Amber said.
Some of the other things that we were talking about too, that the memories that in these lessons with Dumbledore that was excluded was we do see other memories of other Horcruxes, like when he was a young man before, like when Voldemort was working in Borgin and Burke's, right? Yeah, he was working
which
for
is
Borgin
a
and Burke,
dark arts store
collecting shop,
Nocturne Alley. Yeah.
Yes, he was before when he was trying to, work at Hogwarts, and he had a meeting with Hepzibah Smith, who was the last living known descendant of Helga Hufflepuff, and she had an artifact of Helga Hufflepuff's, and it's one of the deaths that we see him commit, just like with the riddles and then using the Marvolo ring, and you can assume and infer from what happened in Chamber of Secrets that Moaning Myrtle's death is what led to the diary. All of these pieces start coming together, but that's one of the items that, and we just accidentally come across it, and they're just able to sense that that's the Horcrux when really we know exactly what it is, and we know exactly what it looks like from this memory.
Exactly. Yeah, and Caleb here wrote in the chat, in the book for Half-Blood Prince, there are more memories that we get to see that give us a better idea what most of the other Horcruxes are. Just basically what Amber was saying too.
Thank you. Yes.
Well said. Yeah.
I love when people support my statements.
Yeah, the Horcruxes are like in theory like a pretty cool concept, for one who has evil notions and wants to live forever, and apparently doesn't care the means of creating Horcruxes, right? And it explains how one is able to survive even being quote unquote dead far better than they did with Palpatine in Star Wars. Y'all come at me. Make it make sense.
So
a little bitter.
I can't make it make sense. I can't.
No.
I've got more Horcrux questions.
Yes.
So do you only each wizard only gets 6, right? Like you can't.
No.
No, I don't think there's a set limit.
Yeah, there's not really a set limit. There's just this is kind of where we have to kind of try to put math to the concept of the soul.
Okay.
Because in the book that Tom Riddle originally read, talking about Horcruxes, it was just they only mentioned it. It only referenced once.
Mm-hmm.
And in his discussion with Slughorn, he's like, could it be possible to do it multiple times, more than just once? Could it up to 7? And that's when Slughorn says, 7 to consider killing one person is like far enough, but 7 people like that to split up your soul 7 times. So you kind of have to, how much of you is really left if your soul is divided? And not even that, it's the fact that if you're thinking that it's halving it every time, making the diary or the first Horcrux, that makes that the diary has 50% of his soul. And then the following item is going to have 25% of his soul. And it just gets smaller and smaller.
And so on and so on. But the reason for the number 7 in magic is 7's deemed as a lucky number.
Okay.
So there's
a lot of 7s in Harry Potter.
A lot. I mean, there's 7 books.
There's 7 Weasleys.
7 Weasleys.
Children. 7 floors of Hogwarts.
7 years to go to school to Hogwarts.
17 when you're a wizarding adult.
Yep.
7 movies plus 1 more. Yeah.
7 Quidditch players on a team.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm
the
pretty
Seeker
sure
is number 7.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's either 700 or 777 Quidditch fouls possible in Quidditch.
Ooh, I don't remember. I actually used to know this, but yeah,
it's one or the other. It's 700
match or what?
No, like possible fouls,
possibilities, possible fouls. So
Okay.
as a whole. But anyway, so 7, to answer your question, 7 is just a pretty significant number when it comes down to magic. So but yeah, like Amber says, you know, you do 1, 50%, you do 2, percentage keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
That we know of, he's the only person that we know of who has done it more than just once.
Yes. Obviously, he did not care.
No.
He wanted to be inevitable.
That worked well for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
It did not.
Well, one thing we always talk about on these podcasts, we talk about the new additions to the cast. This movie, there's only one person I can really kind of point out that was new to the cast. That's Jim Broadbent as Horace Slughorn.
Love it.
He's the newly appointed potions master, which was previously held by Severus Snape. Brittany, what are your thoughts on Jim Broadbent playing Slughorn?
I absolutely love Jim Broadbent. I think before this movie, the one other movie I remember seeing him in was in Moulin Rouge, and he big personality. You know, he knows how to command a room, and I think with Horace Slughorn, it was the same thing. I mean, hell, when we were first introduced to him in the movie, he's an armchair. Like he transfigured himself into an armchair, and the first words he utters is Merlin's beard. You know, it's so much fun. Like I said, big personality. We learned that Slughorn is trying to be recruited by the Death Eaters, and he's like, you know, no, I'm not into that kind of thing. Yes, I'm Slytherin, but like I'm not about that pure blood, you know, mentality, because he values, you know, Amber talked about collecting Dumbledore collecting people, you know, for certain reasons. Slughorn did the same thing. You know, he values people. You know, he travels around with photos of people who were political or famous or just brilliant in their own right. And one of them happens to be Harry's mother, which is very important for later on in the movie when Harry's trying to collect the correct memory about Slughorn telling Tom Riddle about the Horcruxes. You know, Lily, being a Muggle-born, was an exceptional witch in charms. He shares a story about how he got the little goldfish and how it kind of, I won't say hatched, but how it just came to be. He's like, it was beautiful magic. And then when Lily died, the goldfish died. You know, it's that connection. And so he actually felt something towards Lily's death because he inadvertently gave the resource to Tom Riddle, who eventually became Voldemort. And so I think in many ways he feels responsible for Voldemort's outcome, you know, and having succeeded in life, if you will, because obviously he was never killed the night that he tried to go kill Harry, but he's a complex character, still big personality. I absolutely love him. He's also thinking about making money, which I'm all about that right now too. I like to make more money. Let's just be real. But he's I think he's a great addition to the story because of the fact that as a Slytherin, and I believe he's supposed to be pureblood, he does not share the same ideologies as other purebloods or other Slytherins would. He's like, I'm not prejudiced. Like, I value people and their abilities more so than their blood status.
Yeah.
What about you, Amber?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Slughorn?
I love him. I like him, and very good, kind of going in the same vein as Brittany, is that we've talked about it before on this pod that as Slytherins, we get called evil all the time because of all of the other characters. And hey, that's fine if I'm in a sassy mood, but like,
okay,
not all of us are like that. Some of us are like Slughorn, and he shows a very interesting side to Slytherin, because like all Slytherins are like, because our Slytherin traits are supposed to be ambition and cleverness and cunning and
pride, resourceful.
and pride. Yeah, it's like things like that are kind of vilified. Those traits are often very vilified, and he doesn't use it. He doesn't use it to get really strong and popular or powerful. He uses it to get Quidditch tickets. Like he
express his opinion in the Daily Prophet.
Yeah, he takes pride. He gains his pride and, like, I guess, self-value entirely based off of the students that he taught. And I actually really love that. That's so cool that he values his resources so much, because Slytherins are resourceful, but he values that, like, that's his center. It's not arrogance or, like, one of the things I really dislike when Slytherin, like, shirts or whatever, it lists shrewd as one of the, like, the Slytherin traits. It bothers me, but he uses the resort. He is a very true case of Slytherin but showing that it's not evil. These are not, that doesn't need to be vilified. I'm just doing what I do, and I take pride in what I do. I'm a good teacher, and I've taught all of these kids, and they make me happy, and I can talk to them, and, like, yeah, they have gotten really powerful, and they are successful, and I take pride in that because I had a stepping stone in there. Like, I like that. That makes me really happy, and
there's that ambition, that pridefulness coming through,
And just when they said that they, like how Brittany, how you were saying that he is a very great, like, flamboyant character. He's just really good. I love him in the fact that I can you say the name of Horace Slughorn and I hear him. I can hear quotes from the movie, just like,
yep.
Aragog, the king of the arachnids. It's just, you hear it. And nobody could have done that better and funnier than him.
That was really good, though. Oh my God. That was brilliant. I love it. Love it. Yeah.
The soul lingers on.
Oh God. Yeah.
I know that entire speech because it makes me so happy. But
him singing with that too was awesome.
Yeah, and
he's just fun. He's just a fun person.
Also, like, yeah, and like also the acting throughout the film, like in multiple scenes, like when Ron is in the hospital, in the hospital ward, because hospital wing, because the poison, he feels horrible and guilty. Like, you can see it on his face that he is genuinely concerned because a student almost died. And he doesn't know how it got poisoned, but it was his fault. And then also, like, the horrible guilt when he says that, like, I don't know how, like, well, he didn't say that he didn't know how it got poisoned, but it's kind of implied that he didn't know. And when he said that it was for Dumbledore, like, because he's like, this could have happened to you.
The mead that was the actual poison. He was going to regift it to Dumbledore. Yeah.
It's like he didn't.
Yikes.
Yeah, and it's just like you could see it in his face. And like there's a moment when after the Lavender breakup, kind of saying Hermione's name in his sleep,
Where's my
where yeah, where you just see him in the background and he's just absolutely, his face just looks crushed because of what
Yeah.
happened. And the performance during the talking about Lily's fish, that was amazing. I love it. And just the entire interaction of the Felix Felicis moments, amazing. But not just his Aragog speech, but I loved it. I loved all of it. Fun fact too, that goldfish story with Lily actually was not in the books. That was added in, and I love that.
That was a great addition.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's something that they added in the movies that's not in the books that I think is a beautiful story to symbolize what happened to the Potters.
Yeah. Also, I just love him amongst the kids when they're eating ice cream and he's trying to find out more about Hermione. You know, Miss Granger, what do your parents do in the Muggle world? She's like, my parents are dentists. And kids are like, the hell is that? You know? Harry's looking around
Harry's
like,
face.
anyone gonna, challenge her? Let's go. He's a fun, interactive person. One of my favorite scenes, albeit Ron gets poisoned, is that scene in his quarters where Ron's just walking around. He's like, hello darling, he's hugging Slughorn, and
Let's see a dream.
it's more of a Ron moment, but you see how he's just like, okay, this is really uncomfortable, I need to fix this like now, kind of situation. But the addition of Jim Broadbent was, I think, well cast, and I think across the board with this movie, very similar to that of Game of Thrones, is that they cast characters very well, in my personal opinion. Now, could there have been substitutes? Absolutely, for sure. But I think when it came down to this particular casting, I think they hit it right out of the park with Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
He was just a wonderful addition.
Yeah, and Horace
Clearly,
Slughorn,
you're a fan of him.
Listen, we're both Slytherins. We both had the same birthday. I mean, like, it's cool. Like, we're meant to be homies. It's cool.
I like him enough that I have that hourglass.
I have a miniature version of the hourglass. But yes, that hourglass, which was not mentioned in the book, it was specifically made for the movie, is fire. It is so cool. So cool.
It is. I love it.
So cool. We also have fellow Slytherin, Julie. Yeah. That's what's up. Slytherin's in the
a lot of Slytherins. Yeah.
I think you're the lone Gryffindor.
Who, me?
Gryffindor.
Yeah. Oh no, you're Slytherin. What am I
I'm
talking
my own
about?
house. I'm
Slytherin.
Slytherin. Yeah, I made it my
Slytherin.
own. House
That's
of
right.
One.
House of One.
Yeah.
Still got to figure out your mascot.
Plenty of space in Slytherin.
Platypus.
A platypus for Slytherin? Yeah, it might work.
Aww.
Tough to say.
But aren't they? They're venomous. It's kind of cute and cuddly, but they're not supposed to be. And
Also,
it's
kick
a
your
snake and a
ass.
badger. Come on.
2 Hogwarts houses in one. There you go. Slytherin.
There you go.
That works.
Slytherin.
That works.
Just to put a pin in Slughorn, I was going to say Horace Slughorn is a great name. That's a great character name. And like y'all were talking about, it is refreshing that we didn't have the evil teacher in this movie, because we've had that in every single movie. And it seemed like he was on that course.
Except for Lupin. Lupin was not evil.
Okay, that's true. But it seemed like he was on that course to be the evil teacher, and then turns out he wasn't. So I did like that twist. This movie had a lot of twists, like for someone who hasn't seen the movies as many times as y'all have, it was a roller coaster ride of emotions, like I was right there with Snape, and then he's like,
the double cross.
Yeah, double crossed Harry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this movie just really offered a lot when it came down to like the different aspects of a character and the highs and lows of the storyline, right? Like, in all seriousness, Harry has to figure out more about Voldemort's past, what the Horcruxes are, how to find them, and what have you. But then you get the humorous side of the teenagers being teenagers and loves, what's the line from Dumbledore when Ron says Hermione's
Like,
name in the
loves
hospital
and
wing,
its great sorrows or something like that.
or loves keen sting or something like that.
Oh,
or
yeah.
just,
To
about
be
love
young and
stinging.
feel loves, like love sting something.
Something-
I feel like there's a word I'm missing.
Yeah, there is, but
a
you get the
word.
idea. It just, you know, the adults are just kind of like, oh,
Keen.
this is just normal
That was
because
it.
they're kids, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid nearly died, but you know,
It's
she
like
just
to
got dumped.
to be young and feel the sting of unrequited love. sort of
Basically.
like
No,
that.
I actually got the quote. It's it is oh, to be young and feel love's keen sting.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean,
I do know the Aragog
Oh,
mortuary
Lord.
farewell thing.
Oh my God.
I know that.
with the inflection and the pacing. Yeah,
You have to. I'm telling
I
you,
know.
I hear it
It's-
in his voice.
yeah.
It's just
yeah. It's like
King of the
farewell,
Arachnids.
Aragog. It's just so good.
Your
So,
body
so
may
good.
decay.
So- You know, like I said, Slughorn, great name. Aragog, not a great name. Very close to a famous Lord of the
For a
Rings character, which is
spider, I
around.
think it's fabulous.
Yeah, but it's like around the same time as Aragorn and
Aragorn.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
I
let's
know.
mix it up. Let's expand our.
I mean,
vocabulary here.
obviously, Tolkien wrote the books long before J.R. Listen to me, J.K. Rowling.
J.R.
You're
Rowling,
mixing
yeah.
authors here.
I was gonna say J.R. Coling or something like that.
Right,
just to,
right.
yeah. Obviously, it's very possible she was inspired, or some other arachnid name exists. Doesn't really matter, but
And also, like Voldemort is because of like
it's a French
Mort
name.
means death.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not
it's like
Voldemort.
Lord of- it's like-
it's Voldemort.
Yeah, it's like Lord of Death, I think.
Something like that.
How about a
I don't
little Volda less, if you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Wow.
in this movie,
Listen,
we didn't get much
you-
of him, honestly. Yeah.
No, but you got to get the trade off. You got no Dursleys. You got less
that's fair,
Voldemort
yeah.
in this movie. You need
I'll
to chill out.
I'll sign
need
up
to
for
chill
that every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Fun-
No Dursleys.
Fun fact, Justin, I'm sure you have
Yep.
this in your notes, but because we're on topic of Voldemort, or
Sure.
less of Voldemort, we
Right.
get the flashback of young Tom Riddle in the
Mhm.
orphanage, who is played by Rafe Fiennes' nephew,
Mhm.
Hero Fiennes. Yes, we're keeping it all in the family.
Yeah.
Lord Voldemort's nephew plays
I think it
the younger version of himself.
Kid's name is Hero. He's playing the ultimate villain in the story.
Yep.
You
No,
can't-
I think
you
the
can't make
kid
this
did
up.
good. Like,
He did great. He did
and
great.
okay, I mentioned this to Brittany when I was doing my rewatch. It kind of boggles my mind that after that memory, like Harry's just like, did you know then? Like when you met him then? And Dumbledore is just like, that I just met the most dangerous dark wizard in history. No. And it's just like, what is Grindelwald a joke to you?
Child's play. I told you, it's child's play.
Yeah,
That wasn't a
boyfriend
challenge.
bias. It's boyfriend bias.
It wasn't
makes
a
me-
challenge. I don't know.
So you said Grindelwald. He committed some crimes. I've heard, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, we will get there, but
Yes. Yeah.
like comparing the two, Voldemort's goal
Way worse.
Voldemort's goal was to take over basically a school so he could live forever and to get rid of Harry. Grindelwald was an international threat.
Yeah.
Like, this was worldwide. Many countries, all of the ministries and all of the government bodies were infiltrated by Grindelwald. That was worldwide. So it's like worldwide domination versus a high school.
Basically. Yeah.
Dumbo, what is wrong with you? Like, it is purely boyfriend bias. I feel it is just.
He's like, we're not going to talk about that though.
Yeah, you don't get any mention or reference to Grindelwald, and except like once in his Chocolate Frog card in the very first movie, and then
That's a deleted
very, very,
scene.
very end. Yeah, and it's a deleted scene, and same thing with the books at the very, very, very end of the last book.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we get, and it's insane to me because that is why Dumbledore is famous. Like, that's why everyone's like, oh yeah, he's such an amazing wizard. He's such a great wizard.
This
Yeah,
is why-
because he defeated Grindelwald.
This is why Dumbledore sucks, though.
True, but true. Yes,
More on that.
we will get
More on that in a different pod.
more on that later.
So Amber, you
Bit of
mentioned that,
Hogwarts.
right? Yeah, that Hogwarts is basically like this like a high school, basically. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of high school, let's talk about some textbooks. Harry finds the potions textbook, which find out it's actually Snape's textbook. And I just want to let's talk about like just the plot device of that book and how Harry uses these spells, which he doesn't know that they're like dark magic, but they are kind of, right? Or Brittany, take over.
So the book in itself, it's tattered, it's old, it's well loved. I'm going to say it's well loved. The fact that the Half-Blood Prince, because all you know at that point is this book is property of the Half-Blood Prince, which I have that on a t-shirt that I absolutely love. It helps Harry excel in potions. And the fact that the Half-Blood Prince has crossed out the instructions on pretty much every single page of this textbook and has figured out how to brew whatever potion it may be even better, because the potion that you're seeing be brewed by the kids with the wonderful music, the it's great music, is the draft of the living death, and it's a very complex potion, and you're instead of cutting it, he uses the blade of his sword. Listen to me, his blade of his knife to squeeze the juice out of whatever little bean thing that he's supposed to try to cut. And Hermione's all like, "What? How do you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, you do this instead of what it says in the book." And she goes, "No, the book specifically says to do this." And Hermione's all about doing things the way that it's written out,
By the
right?
book. Yeah.
By the book, quite literally. And everyone's struggling. The potions classroom is a mess, but Harry is doing the thing, and he is the winner of the Felix Felicis because the little leaf that's dropped into his cauldron dissolves. To which Slughorn explains, "Oh, it's perfect. One drop would kill us all." And that helps Harry in a time where he was okay at potions, but Snape also hates him. He didn't excel in potions like he's doing now. And it's all because of the book. It's all because the fact that Snape, who is a genius in his own right, crossed out the instructions, made up his own, ways, and then kind of started playing around with creating new magic, creating new spells, being the second,
which is incredibly difficult. So
yes,
that's pretty cool.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. He's a genius in his own right, because it's not like everybody in the wizarding world can do this, right? He has this way about him because he was so harassed in school and by Harry's, father and godfather and friends. He comes up with this spell, for enemies, Sectum Sempra, which basically like slices you, open, and that's a problem.
And Levicorpus.
And Levicorpus, which was previously seen in the 5th movie, which makes no sense because Harry would not have known about that spell at all because it was in
well, I think potions. It's because the Marauders were using it against him, and remember they were hanging him upside down. So it's like he created Levicorpus, but a lot of people, like the Marauders, started using it, and I'm pretty sure it just kind of got popularized.
Yeah,
and Harry learned it by proxy. But
yeah,
that's my little theory as to how Harry knew it. But
also, it just doesn't follow continuity anyway. But yes, you're right, Justin. In that book, not only are there better potions instructions, there's some dark magic to it too.
Yeah, but one thing I kind of want to mention that it's just interesting to go back and look on, especially for me and Brittany, since we've seen these movies many times, is that Snape doesn't teach from the books. He teaches by writing the instructions on the board for that exact reason, because he knows better than the textbook. and he is a potion prodigy. He knew better than that. So he writes all of his things. And it's kind of even a little sillier that Harry didn't recognize the handwriting that he's been reading on the board for the past 6 years. Like,
Harry
that's a really good point.
Would not make it in Ravenclaw at all.
This is a fact. But it kind of like it changes you a little bit how you perceive Snape's lessons, because his lessons are always really hard, but also he wasn't teaching with a textbook. So I mean, it was like
you're working for it.
Yeah, like you were literally working to create these potions, while, like, granted, not everybody's great at cooking. I can't cook for my life, but I can follow an instruction manual. I can follow I can follow a cookbook. If I really wanted to put in effort, I can do it. Yeah. And potions books are kind of, it appears that is very similar.
Same principle.
Yeah, same principle. But that there was coming up with insufficient stuff. So he was just like, no, I'm going to teach you guys the proper way. You guys are going to learn things by ingenuity, by training, and like practical usage, not just reading it from the textbook and following the instructions. And that actually says a lot about how Snape's teaching methods, even though, he is a bully and shouldn't be bullying and terrorizing children, but still.
Also, why was the textbook left behind? Do we ever get an answer about that even in the book?
No, I don't
think so. It's just curious. You would think that's kind of like his version of a Bible. You think he'd keep it close, to his.
Maybe he got so good that he didn't even need it.
Probably, but it's curious that it would have stayed at Hogwarts as opposed to Spinner's End.
Well, I mean, he was there for a while, so maybe it just got misplaced, and then just kind of someone cleaning up the room is just like, oh, here's a textbook. Let me just put it in the cabinet with the other textbooks.
It's like, oh, look, I can pass this on to the next person, and they'll find all my dark arts spells and use it on a student.
Yeah.
Great idea, Snape. Great idea.
Yeah. There's some errors there.
He just misplaced it. He forgot about it, It's like Dany in Game of Thrones. She forgot about the whatever when she's flying over the sea. So that's this version of that, I guess, right?
She forgot she had dragons.
Yeah, exactly. So we've been talking about this kind of in circles for a while, but let's just get to it. Let's talk about the angsty teen love triangles that we get in this movie. You have you have Ron and Lavender Brown and Hermione. Then you have Hermione, who's kind of revenge dating Cormac McLaggen, who is Ron's,
that boy is fine. Sorry.
Ron's rival on the Quidditch team as far as their tryouts. They're both going for the keeper spot. And
Freddie Stroma, who plays Cormac McLaggen, he actually got into acting just kind of to make have spending money kind of thing, because he's actually quite brilliant. I think he was going into astrophysics or something in the major sciences, and he's quite brilliant.
He's definitely still an actor, because I was familiar with this person because here in the Watchers of the Basement right now we're talking about Harry Potter. We love talking about Harry Potter, but we are like Rhodey said in Avengers Endgame, we're about that superhero life here with the Watchers of the Basement. Freddie Stroma was on the Peacemaker series, which is also on HBO Max. Of course
he was.
He plays Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante. So definitely check out, if you're a Freddie Stroma fan, check out a Peacemaker. It's a different character from the cocky Quidditch player, his character in Peacemaker. So
he also
check it out.
He's also in the first Pitch Perfect, and you get to see his abs. Yeah, I'm here for it.
That's the only knowledge I have of him outside of Harry Potter.
There was also a very short-lived show where he was kind of traveling through time. It did not last past the first season on whatever network channel it was. But anyway, sidebar. the revenge dating, I think is really funny to me with Hermione, because this is where you really obviously get that confirmation that Hermione has feelings towards Ron. In the previous movies, you kind of get little hints here and there, even like in the second movie.
Jealousy.
Yeah, and like Ron's jealousy towards, whatever she's doing. You see how Harry feels towards Ginny dating Dean, and he's kind of like awkwardly like watching them, as they're snogging in the three broomsticks.
That's the only way that you can infer that he has feelings for Ginny, is just because he's just creeping on the fact that she's with her boyfriend.
Well,
it's awkward.
Even when the Golden Trio are in Weasley's Wizard Wheezes and the girls are looking at like the little love potion, right? And the twins come by, like, yeah, that it works. And it's like, but we hear sis say you don't need any help with that. She's like, what are you talking about? Like me? Like, really? And Harry's over here like, what are they saying? They're talking about Ginny. Oh my god. Yeah, it's creepy. It's really creepy.
So weird.
But again, it falls in line with that awkward teenager, you're falling in love for the very first time, or so you think you're falling in love, and it's comical.
Amortentia.
Amortentia, yeah. The girl who actually slips the little love potion into the chocolates, Romilda Vane, Justin, she actually has a tie-in to The Witcher. She is one of the mages in The Witcher. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's in it. Anyway, but yeah, it's I think it's just fun. I think it's just kind of again, like I said earlier at the top of this pod, how it's a nice break from like the dark themed plot line that is obviously we're what's the expression? We're gaining speed, or on this, right? Caleb says that yeah, I was not a fan of the love triangle stuff in this movie. I get it. I respect that. I get it. I just think it's a nice break in the monotony of like, oh no, Voldemort's after Harry again. Kind of situation.
Yeah.
Again, they're growing up. You're growing up with them. Like I was growing up with them, with the movies. Because the actors and I were all about the same age. So yeah, I don't know. I felt seen.
And I think you're trying to reach a broader audience. If it was just straight up like just wizards and dark stuff, that would, probably cater more to young boys, or, that kind of group of people. And here you're trying to, Harry Potter was obviously still is a phenomenon, but like, especially then it wasn't just little boys, it was little girls. So like, it was like everything, everyone was kind of involved in this. So I think that's part of why you break it up with the little teen romance and the jokes and stuff, make it lighter.
I thought it also did a little bit towards helping us see that what normal wizarding life can be when not in wartime. Like it should, like, even just this small little comment with right at the beginning when McGonagall saw Harry and Ron just goofing off in the beginning and be like, don't you want to still be an Auror?
Yeah. Like,
you should do this in this classes because that will help your career. Like, yeah, okay. So he goes like,
she even had a great zinger of like, take Weasley with you. He's having far too much fun. He looks far too happy. It's like, okay, she's got some zingers. Like, all right, McGee, I see you. Like,
and I thought it like there's just small little things there. Like, when they're not fighting a dark wizard, because not everyone's going to be fighting a dark wizard in their day-to-day life. Sorry. So I thought the love was kind of like, it was a little frivolous, and it did take away from other, like, the important things like the gaunts and everything like that, like we mentioned before. And it does break up stuff like what Brittany's saying. I just think it just shows like, hey, like these are kids, but they also deserve to be kids. They shouldn't be having to focus on
grown-up things.
On grown-up things and war and death and murder and people being attacked, and they shouldn't have to be worrying on that when they're literally in high school. Let them have a little bit of drama. So it's like, I get it.
I wanted to pose a question to our viewers here in the live chat, or also in the replay if you're watching, and to Justin specifically, because you didn't grow up reading the books, let alone watching the movies like Amber and I did, and many others. For you, because we're talking about love triangles and revenge dating and things like that, how did you feel about the dynamic between Harry and Hermione? Did you feel anything happening between the two of them? Maybe.
Yeah, kind of. It's very, because so obviously there's the part where Harry kind of consoles Hermione after she gets upset because Ron is making out with this lavender brown girl, and they're just like, he's like crazy in love with her, but that's after the love potion, right? So that's part of the reason why.
No. The love potion. Love potion. No.
Oh,
love potion takes place after.
Okay, so
Lavender didn't use a love potion on Ron.
Yeah, but he won the Quidditch game. She goes up to him, kisses him, and he's like, "Oh, yes,"
right.
Yeah,
but even the first time I watched all these movies years ago, I did like, just on the outset, I said, okay, there's these three, the golden trio, right?
Yes.
Like, obviously Harry's the main character. Hermione is like, the one girl in the trio. So it's like, they're going to get together. That's what I thought. Like, eventually that kind of, because like Ron is like his best friend. He's like kind of the third wheel, but that's not really what I think happened. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's watching along with us, but in this movie, there are definitely some hints where it seems like we're going to get to a Harry and Hermione romance. That's why I think the Ginny stuff kind of like, I mean, there are kind of breadcrumbs throughout the other movies, but to me, it's kind of out of left field, because it's like, I don't know, it's just a strange like move, because like then it's like, so now he's in love with Ron's sister, and he knows how protective Ron is of his sister, especially with talking about the boyfriend from earlier, like Amber was talking about. So it's kind of like it's like a very awkward thing, regardless of whether it's with his best friend Hermione, or now he's with his other best friend's sister. It's just a weird, like, it's so incestual, and I don't know. It's, to me, that part of it is not the best. I think it's great for like teen drama. I can understand like why kids would be excited about this part of the movie, but for me, like, it was kind of like, it's not, I don't know,
necessary.
Well, it's just not as like definitive as you'd want it to be. It's not like,
I wouldn't say it's a popular ship, but in this movie and a little bit in the last one, because she's introduced in it, a lot of people do ship Luna and Harry.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
So I just thought it was cute. I just thought like I even like texted Brittany. It was adorable when she's like, it's almost like being with a friend, and he's like, I am your friend, Luna, and she's like,
that's nice.
Like,
she's like, oh, it never occurred to me. She's like, it never occurred to me.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll find someone really cool, and it's Luna. I just I
love it.
I love that she's just a little weirdo, and he is totally okay with that.
But she saves
him
early in the movie.
I don't ship it, but
she does. She does save him because Draco, Harry's always creeping on somebody. All right, let's just be real. He's always creeping on somebody, and he's trying to find out the truth. Boy. He is. Must be a Gryffindor thing. He's always trying to figure out what's happening with Draco. He gets himself literally spellbound by the Petrificus Totalis, and Draco breaks his nose with the intention of, okay, no one's going to find him here because I'm going to use the invisibility cloak and hide Harry. He's going to go back to London, whatever. Well, it's because of Luna with her little specter specs, those fun glasses that we love, that she, finds Harry, and he's like, how did you find me? And she's like, Rackspurts, your head's full of them. And he's like, looking up, like, where the hell are these things? Can I see them? Can she only see them?
He takes everything she says at face value, and it's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I personally, because by this point the books had been released. I'm trying to remember when book 7 came out. Was it 2011? No, that was final movie. Anyway, so I think the books had already been released. Everyone more or less knew what was happening with these characters. But from the movie, if like you're just solely watching the movies, never having read the books, I can definitely see how someone would be like, these two are going to get together. They're great together. It's like a yin and yang kind of situation because she's brilliant. He's not so much. They just complement each other very well, in my opinion. And like, I was like, yeah, I could see movie Hermione and movie Harry getting together, but book Ginny and book Harry being together like makes total sense. It's just it wasn't conveyed very well in the movie, which is what Caleb is saying here. I've always been for Harry and Ginny. The movies just did not portray the relationship very well, which I agree. Thank y'all to Bricky and Caleb for saying that Deathly Hallows came out in 2007. I should have known. That was the year I graduated high school.
I think it's I could see it if you have only seen, like you were saying, if you've only seen the movies. I can see it. And we know for a fact that the script writer shipped Harry and Hermione. That is very, very much a thing. And that is why that's kind of part of the assassination of Ron's character. Like why they gave a lot of really great lines to Hermione or to anybody else really except Ron. Because even though Ron originally was the one who was saying them, it's just because they just didn't really care for Ron. And that's a shame. And like we see it later on and throughout the entire thing. Like I know we're not talking about this movie. We'll get there, but there is a specific scene in Deathly Hallows that just makes me so uncomfortable. And I hate it.
I know which one you're talking about.
It is so unnecessary.
It is. It is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Is it in part 1 or part 2?
I generally can't remember, but I'm just going to go out and say it. It's the dancing in the tent. I'm going to be honest.
Part 1. Yeah.
It's the dancing in the tent.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awkward. Honestly, I hate the song too. Like,
yeah, I know.
Whenever I see edits on TikTok or Instagram or whatever that use that song, I instantly scroll away because I get annoyed. It's so uncomfortable and it was so unnecessary. There was other ways that you could have shown that as a friend, he is comforting her in that moment. There was so many other ways you could have done that instead of that.
Yeah, but I ship movie Harry and movie Hermione all the way. I think they would have been great together. It's kind of weird that, again, if you hadn't read the books and you just took the movies as they were, you kind of I could see someone, because I feel this way, you want them together because
thank the script.
Yeah.
So let's there's no way to transition from teen love to the death of Dumbledore, but except for
I love it, so yeah, I'm fine with that.
Right. So I mean, a teenager was supposed to kill him, but then Draco could not go through with it, and Snape stepped in and did. So my question for y'all about Dumbledore. So he's this obviously very important character. They don't have a funeral scene. Isn't that kind of strange?
But they do in the book. They do in the book, and they left it out. And it's just like, because
I intentionally stayed silent because I knew Brittany needed to talk about this. So go.
Sorry.
No, go.
Let me be the first to say, I did not weep about Dumbledore's death when reading the book like I did with Sirius. I was beside myself when Sirius Black died in Order of the Phoenix. If we have new viewers, now they do. Okay. However, Dumbledore couldn't care less. Why? Because I think the man just didn't help our boy Harry like he should have. Like, you get the idea. Okay, he wants Harry to figure out things for himself. Dude, you're old as hell. Okay, you've gone through things, you've read all the things, you've done all the things, like help the boy out. Okay, like just help him
Mhm.
out, and not in the sense of I'm going to get ahead of myself with the will and leaving, the sword of Gryffindor, to help destroy the Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Give the boy the information that he needs. All right, stop withholding information. Like, my God. Okay, so
He had the theory of the Horcruxes before that. Why are you giving him the side quest of harassing Slughorn?
Yeah.
When he already theorized it.
Yeah.
He
So
admitted that.
yeah. So with Dumbledore's death, albeit very well done visually, right? Dramatic, the slow-mo of him, falling, backwards from the tower. Even just the dialogue between him and Snape, that pleading to Snape of Severus, please. It's almost as you interpret that as he's begging for his life. That might not actually be what Dumbledore is doing, right?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to spoil everything, but the performances were very well executed. No pun intended. Sorry. But
If you said we're very well assassinated, that'd be worse. But yeah,
I
go
know
ahead.
it would have been, but executed kind
Right,
of
yeah.
works all
Yeah,
the
it works
same.
better. Yeah, there you go.
Synonyms, y'all. Caleb here says that the scene where Harry goes back to Dumbledore's body makes me cry every time. And I get that. It is a very emotional state that Harry is in. The rest of the students who have come out from their common rooms to find that their beloved headmaster is dead. They don't
And
know
the dark
how.
mark in the sky.
And the dark mark is above Hogwarts. And so that scene, in lieu of having a funeral scene, what I did like, because it came from a different movie that I can't think of the title, the kids holding up their wands and the tips are illuminated, and each illuminated wand kind of minusculely destroys the dark mark that's above Hogwarts, which I think is really cool, with the symbolism of like light will defeat dark always. And it's beautifully well done. It's just kind of like their tribute to Dumbledore. Like, we still stand together as one. Like, we're in this now. We're really in this fight. Like, this is a real thing. This happened on our territory. Now we've got to do something about it, sort of situation. So, but yeah, the fact that they didn't have the funeral, and the funeral chapter was written very well from the book. It's there that Harry says to Ginny and friends that he's not coming back. He's going to go on the hunt for Horcruxes, and Ginny, we can't be together because of this, but yeah, it was, read the book, y'all. Read the book, listen to the audio book. I don't care. Just do yourselves a favor. If you haven't, do it. Amber, thoughts?
What's your take on the no funeral in the movie?
Sorry, guys. My AirPods are out. I can't hear you.
Okay.
So
Uh-oh.
give me 2 seconds, but you guys
Okay.
keep going.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I appreciate the exception of not having the funeral for what they showed and what they did. It was really cool.
To me, like, again, Dumbledore is a massive character, and watching this again, I had the same feeling I had the first time I saw it, where I was like, this is not the end of this character. Like, I feel like in other movies, like, for example, like Lord of the Rings, like when you think Gandalf dies, and is it the first one or is it the second one? First one.
Fly, you fools.
Yeah, that one, that was
he literally told you, go find the damn eagles and fly. Sorry.
Right. No, I know that. But what I'm saying is that felt like a character death. Because I hadn't read The Lord of the Rings. So when I saw the movie, I was like blown away. I was like, wow, so this guy's gone. And then when he came back, it was an actual real surprise. Whereas I don't know that that's the case in this series. I think Dumbledore is a great character nonetheless, but I'm not fooled by this this death.
You're like, I've seen this way too many times. I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it just seems like they'd be.
Gandalf ruined it for everyone.
Right,
I
exactly.
get it.
It's Gandalf's fault.
Is
So
there
he's-
any
he's-
reason because he has like visual similarities?
Right. Not to mention, Ian McKellen explicitly said he would never be in Harry Potter because it was too similar to that of
Right.
being in Lord of the Rings.
I have
yeah,
to say, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Dumbledore comes back as Dumbledore the White and not Dumbledore in blue. I don't know what color he wears, purple.
In my
Anyway.
wizard rankings, I have Gandalf just
Periwinkle.
above Dumbledore. So
Gandalf above Dumbledore.
Yeah.
You know, I can support that. Yes. I
my
can get
number
behind
one
that.
wizard of all time is Michael Jordan when he played for the Washington Wizards in 2001, 2002.
How long have you had that bottled up to use?
Oh, I had to see that. In fact, I probably should wear a Wizards. You know, now I'm thinking about this. I should wear a Wizards shirt on the show that we're doing about Wizards. Wow, Justin, way to
Do
prepare.
it.
Way to
Wow.
prepare.
We've got two
My
more.
one of my
Harry
favorites.
Potter.
I'm not gonna lie. I love the Merlin in Sword in the Stone, the Disney Sword in the Stone.
Yes,
I love him. He's awesome.
him. Archimedes. Yeah, they're great.
Mhm.
If I ever get an
Yeah,
owl,
there's
I'm naming
a-
it
there-
Archimedes.
Real random and very off topic. There's a squirrel that lives in the tree, right outside our place. We named him Archimedes because of that movie.
No,
Just so you know.
no, let's do it.
So Amber, before we finish up with the wizard talk, what are your thoughts on no funeral for Dumbledore in the movie compared to what you
Oh.
read in the book?
Yes. I feel like with they already showed the kind of ceremony that they did for Cedric. I feel like it would have been a little bit too similar because it was at the end of the movie. It would have been in the Grand Hall, like Great Hall. It's just I feel like it would have been just a shy bit too similar. I wish we saw something.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of okay that we didn't see it. Not for any particular reason. I just think that I am sad that we didn't see Fox cry, like singing and crying and flying off into the distance. But
But with the tomb being opened, right
Yeah.
on that little island, which that's a real place, y'all. It's in Scotland. If y'all ever, I have not been to Scotland, but many people over on Pottergram have, and it looks stunning. So
Yeah.
the Dumbledore's tomb is on that island, and it magically is opened, and of course, who's there? Voldemort, retrieving the Elder Wand because that is going to be.
we don't know
something-
why yet.
We don't know why yet. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself as I'm talking, but seeing the tomb at least, because it does tie into like that funerary sort of, vibe, right? I still think it's fitting. I don't think you needed the whole pomp and circumstance of having the funeral. Like I said, I think with the decision that they
Yeah.
made with the wands and the illuminated tips, destroying the dark mark, I think that was just perfect. You
Yeah.
got you understood the message behind that.
Yeah, I agree. I like it a little better.
Well done. It's like
Yes.
no funeral
Good job.
for Dumbledore, great. No gaunts, boo.
I did though. I do like because again, this is just me focusing on wands and wand lore. They don't know the reason, the significance of that specific wand, but nobody really did. But I think it's really, really interesting that it's a tidbit of information that it's wizarding tradition to be buried with your wand, and because of that, usually trees of that wood will grow. Like that's a common tomb marker, grave marker for wizards is a tree. And as a wandlerist, I think that's really, really cool. And like they even make a tidbit in the the official writing of OllivAmber about wandwoods. They say that it's theorized that English oak was Merlin's wand wood, but since his tomb was never found, we cannot confirm. So kind of just saying like, well, we don't know where his grave is, so therefore we can't confirm because it's tradition to be buried with your wand. But
Makes sense.
yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm actually really fine with how they did it, because just because I feel like it would have been too, like what they did with the wand raising was beautiful, like Brittany said, gorgeous. But I feel like it would have been an actual funeral scene would have been too similar to Cedric's.
Yes,
Yeah, good
I agree. Also, boo Dumbledore.
You know, I agree.
Just saying. We'll do a separate podcast on a character study of Albus, Percival, Wulfric, Brian, Dumbledore.
Well, and also once we finish the Harry Potter movies, we're going to rank them. We're going to do a special episode where we're going to rank all the movies, and we're going to do like, hey, what would we change? What would we fix? How would we fix the Harry Potter movies if they need fixing? Which there's some stuff that can, some tinkering here and there, right? We have notes. We have notes, right? So
A little bit.
Oh yeah.
they're making a new Harry Potter TV series apparently. So we'll see how that goes.
What is kind of funny, Brittany, you were talking about the island and the real island where his tomb is.
Mm-hmm.
In Hogwarts Legacy, they do have that. That is in there, Hogwarts Legacy, and I remember
I noticed it
right when I first got my broom and I was just flying around and exploring. I landed there and I told Will, he was sitting right next to me at the time, and I'm just like, Dumbledore's body's here in like 100 years. And
oh, God.
I
Not
went there
yet.
specifically. Yeah, I went there specifically just to be like, this is where the guy is buried. Cool, bye, and just left.
Wow.
Do you have an update on Hogwarts Legacy? We skipped over it last time. How have you progressed in the video game, the very popular video game, Hogwarts Legacy?
I've 100% the game, and I'm like 80% through my second run.
Wow.
But I kind of stopped. I slowed down a lot because I'm more than 80%. I think I'm like 90-something% because all I have left is 2 more quests. Everything else is 100% because I was trying to do everything else and avoid the main storyline so I could get everything 100% before I went to the main storyline. My goal was to try and level up as much as possible, but I'm still only getting to level 40 by the time that I get to the end. So I don't know if it's even possible to get more than that because there's nothing for me to do. And my second run, I'm playing it on hard. The first one I played on normal, and I'm playing this one on hard. And there were a few things that were a little bit more challenging, but not nearly challenging enough. Yeah, but I still love the game.
Impressive, yeah. That's really cool. Brittany, you beat the game also, right? And have you played it any more lately?
I started to in about I want to say May, late April, early May. Because my goal was to play the game as each house, right? It's same storyline, that kind of thing, same side quests, et cetera, et cetera. But I just wanted to play as different houses. So I was doing a Hufflepuff run because Hufflepuff doesn't really get a whole lot of attention in both books and movies. So yeah, shout out to Puffs. But I got pretty sick, and just haven't gone back to go play it since. So I couldn't tell you what percentage I was at, couldn't tell you the last thing I even did. It's been a while. I should eventually get back to the game, but I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like I'll get to it when I get to it,
Yeah.
Great game. I was totally like not going to get it or play it because I don't like following like all the hype of certain things. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I caved.
Caleb said that he got the game like right when it came out and went for 100%. But one of the collectibles glitched and didn't get counted.
That happened to me too. That was a known thing. Hopefully they've patched it. But again, it's been months since I've played. So
I
couldn't find one of the field guide pages. That was the thing I couldn't get.
There's like 2 field guide pages that I never found, but it said that I 100%ed everything. So I'm like,
I know, so strange.
But yeah, that was weird. In my Hufflepuff run, I'm specifically not doing unforgivable curses.
I'm gonna do it. I'm
giving myself the challenge. I was just kind of like, well, I'm playing it on hard, but then I kind of realized, there's like a little like levels that you can do to try and it's like a gym where you can just practice, and those were significantly harder on hard instead of normal, but mostly everything else wasn't hard at all. And so I wanted to give myself that extra challenge. So I'm like, I'm not going to learn the unforgivables, so I don't learn them as a Hufflepuff. But yeah, it's the same story. I also wanted to play as the other houses because there is this very specific side quest that is different for each house.
Yes.
And also, I do want to see the other common rooms. So,
except
like the Hufflepuff common
care.
room is really, Hufflepuff common room is gorgeous, really nice and cozy. I really want to see the Ravenclaw one, but I just haven't finished the last 2. But it's 163 hours. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah, I know. I saw that from Bricky. Bricky says she got 100% at 163 hours play. I don't remember how many I played, Justin. I think it was over 100 as well.
Hours.
Yeah.
Does it? I mean, the game keeps track of all that stuff, right? The stats and stuff as far as the hours played. I'm sure it does.
It does. I just don't pay attention to it. I only paid it as every single time it tells you, but I don't really pay attention to it.
Well, maybe at the end of the year we could have that. Y'all could have those stats on hand, and we can all talk about that and compare maybe screenshots or something or whatever. That'd be kind of cool to show people your numbers on the game. So
and I mean there are some things too where I'm just trying to like I'm answering slightly, like responding to NPCs slightly differently just to see what it'll do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun, but I think for my Ravenclaw one, I'm going to be just full on evil, and
yes,
just because I can. And I'm going to pick all of the mean options. I hate doing that. I'm one of those people who, like, I don't want to hurt the NPC's feelings. So I don't want to say mean things, but no, I'm not going to care anymore.
I don't know. A couple of them are annoying. So it's like, screw you. I don't care.
Oh yeah. Like that one girl in the Accio.
In the challenge. Yeah, the Accio challenge. Yeah.
Summoner's Court. She makes me so angry.
So annoying.
I've vented to Brittany about it for ages because I'm just like, I'm so mad at her.
She has like one thing that she says like when you fail, and it's just very like condescending and just gets under your skin. Anyway, sidebar.
It's like such skill, finesse.
Yeah.
Well,
if I was tempted to learn Unforgivables just so I could kill her. I was so mad. Mm-hmm. She makes me angry.
So Bricky here says, I learned 2 unforgivable curses, not Avada Kedavra, but I don't use them. Ravenclaw as well. For my Hufflepuff playthrough, I'll learn them all. So as a Slytherin, because I played Slytherin, I learned all the unforgivable curses except Avada Kedavra, which made me so mad because it's the killing curse and you kill poachers and the bad people. And I'm like, I want to do that fast, and I didn't learn it. So I failed myself as a Slytherin. It's fine. I'll make it up as a Hufflepuff or something.
Well, you can go back and learn them. Like I have only 2 quests left, and then I'm done. And I can go back and talk to Sebastian, and he'll teach it to me.
Yeah, but I think with my Slytherin run, it's over. With the Hufflepuff run, that's we're gonna do it.
I originally wasn't going to learn the Unforgivables for my Slytherin run because I wanted to do the whole not all Slytherins are evil thing. But then Brittany peer pressured me into it by telling me, because I was yeah, you did. I was saying how yeah, you did, because I was saying how I'm so angry and mad about the poachers hurting little animal beasts, and you're like, well, if you learn Unforgivables, you can just go at them, and I'm like, That is true.
That's not peer pressure.
And
That's
so
just
I
logic.
learned Unforgivables just
That's
so I could
just
go to
logic.
torture camps and kill people. And
That's just common sense.
yeah.
Don't be mad at common sense.
Yeah, and Caleb has a point. That one portrait was real annoying. Should burn him.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, but for my Ravenclaw run, I'm gonna be full on psychotic, and I'm just gonna be merciless. It's gonna be great.
And I see we have a comment from Julie saying, "I wish I could play the game." If you do get a chance to play the game, please let us know. We're going to be talking about it more in future episodes. I think it is now available on all consoles, correct? Like it originally it was just PS. It's not on Switch yet?
It kept getting pushed back. It was supposed to have a
Okay.
July release, and then I think it's now November.
Oh wow, okay. Well, it is on what? It's on PS5, it's on Xbox Series X or S or both. It's on I think it's on PlayStation 4. It's on PC, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's out there. If you get a chance to play it, Julie, let us know because obviously Brittany and Amber are way into this game, and I think we'll start calling that completionist corner when we talk about Hogwarts Legacy. So anyway, let's wrap this one up real quick. Do y'all have anything else you want to talk about from the movie that we didn't mention as we're kind of getting out of here?
I would like to know everyone's favorite scene or favorite line from this movie. And that's open to, of course, my fellow watchers here, as well as those in the chat. So
Amber, go
ponder
for it.
on that, if you will. I will go ahead and share mine.
Okay, go for it.
Because I think it's just really funny. Is the scene between Harry... What's happening? I think the scene between Harry and Snape at the Slug Club holiday party, where Snape, gets Harry and says, I only wish to convey a message from the headmaster. He's traveling, whatever. And Harry's like, traveling where? And Snape just stares at Harry. He just stares at him. Then he's like, bye. To me, it's just so comical that you get that performance from Alan Rickman, or as I like to call him, Lord Rickman of the Allen. But yeah, that is just one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie. There's so many others, of course. Dan Rad, obviously, with the pincers, kind of thing. Caleb here says, Potter, take Weasley with you. He looks far too happy over there. Yes, McG, my girl Maggie Smith, protect her at all costs with bubble wrap. She's a true legend. That woman is phenomenal. So yeah, do we have Amber back?
Yeah, I think so. No?
Oh, maybe not. So
okay,
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll go with mine. So I already mentioned mine a second ago. The reveal that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince was a awesome scene. Obviously, Harry trying to fight him, that was cool. But something we didn't talk about, I want to touch on real quick, was the duel between Harry and Draco, because that's kind of been building up over all these movies. And Draco is kind of like the villainous reflection of Harry. And so it's kind of good to see them kind of go head to head. Obviously, Harry gets the better of him by using one of the spells from the book. But and then of course Snape has to save him because it would have killed Draco. But I thought it was like something we needed to see, and kind of in lieu of having Voldemort in person, it was good to have Harry fight somebody in with using his wizardly powers. So yeah, I think the Draco Harry duel was very cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amber, yay, she's back. Tell us your favorite line or your favorite scene from this movie.
Favorite scene, I'm gonna say the Aragog funeral.
And her favorite line is the monologue. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it so much. It just makes me giggle every time. But I do actually really like the line. I saw it when I was looking for a poster that I would like for my Instagram post for this live. It was a poster of Harry. It just didn't look well with the post, so I didn't use it. But it was of Harry, and in the reflection of Harry's glasses was Dumbledore. Mm-hmm. And and it said, it was a quote from Dumbledore saying, I must again ask too much of you, Harry. And it's like, you always do that, but I'm glad you're at least
real.
acknowledging it.
No kidding.
Yeah,
No
so
kidding.
Caleb's is funny. That's funny.
Caleb's is great. So setup is in Weasley Wizard Wheezes, the twins. Ron's asking the twins, how much for this? He's holding a box. 5 galleons. How much for me? 5 galleons. I'm your brother. 10 galleons. Yeah. It's wonderful.
I like also, I am the chosen one.
Yes. She's like, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one, but I am the chosen one.
I am the chosen one. But
it's so good.
His body may decay.
Oh my god.
His soul lingers on. I'm telling you, I love it.
God. You've got the voice.
It's down. So funny.
She's got it. Yeah. She could quote it. It's so good.
No, I really haven't. I hear it in my head.
Oh my god.
It's just it's one of those things that I'll just randomly say around the house. It's just it's great.
I want to share one last thing before we go. And Justin, you brought it up earlier when the Death Eaters have gone through Hogwarts. They're making their way onto the grounds. Snape is kind of like in the lead and everyone else is following. In Tom Felton's memoir, which Amber and I did the book stop tour in our respective cities, that was at least at my book stop with Tom Felton. He talked about that day or days of filming that scene where he's having to follow Snape in the hall. And, he's got this billowing cloak and it's a wonderful costume. It's like one of the only costumes that never changed throughout the whole series. But Tom Felton kept stepping on the cloak. And so they'd have to cut and Alan Rickman's kind of like, quit stepping on my cloak, kind of situation. And it's filmed at night. Everyone's like tired and, what have you. And Tom Felton kept stepping on the cloak. And then finally, Alan Rickman just kind of like, he's like, I am done. Like he got so tired of people stepping on his cloak, to try to, stay in frame and to, be Snape and be that, bossy kind of looking guy. And it's just one of the funnier sort of passages from the book that, again, Tom elaborated on during his book tour that I just wanted to share with everyone out there. So if you haven't had a chance to read Tom Felton's memoir,
Beyond the Wand.
Beyond the Wand. Thank you. I was about to say Beyond the Magic. Go check it out.
Wand.
I'm sorry. I know it's so sacrilegious of me to say that in front of you. Sorry.
How dare you?
I know.
Amber, you know a thing or two about wands, right? You have a channel where you talk about wands. Could you tell people how they can find that channel?
You can find me by OllivAmbers.wands. It is like OllivAmber, but you change the M and the N into an M and the D into a B.
There you
to
go.
Be Amber, because my name's Amber, guys. I study wands and wand lore in the wizarding world. So I go into the cultural, historical, and symbolic meaning behind the wood, as well as the magical beast or creature that forms the core. And we come up with basically personality analysis of the wands, and we compare that to the wand owner, or if we don't know about the person's wand stats, we look into and try and theorize what it could be based on the wand knowledge. And I hope to get back to filming very, very soon, now that I have my offices getting slowly set up, and I have a couple of projects within that. But yeah, even on my Instagram, you can find me on there. I have Instagram, Tumblr, and a TikTok for the wands for OllivAmbers, and I still post. I also am friends with very many wand makers, and I collect wands, not just the ones in the wizarding world. I collect wands in general. If it's pretty stick, I want it.
Very cool. Well, it's always great to have you. And as we wrap up here, you were saying something before I ask you to plug away. So what are your final thoughts on Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince?
I really like it. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite movies even though, yeah, Brittany and I very clearly covered that there are issues with it. Nothing's infallible, but I genuinely really like this movie. I think especially coming out of coming after Order, this was something I kind of really wanted to. This is what I wanted. I liked it a lot. And it leads up into my other, like, the last 3 movies are my favorites. So in the entire series. So I'm really excited that this kind of is kicking it off for us.
Very cool. Yeah, we will be back very soon to do Deathly Hallows Part 1. So but that's the next one. Let's wrap up this one. Now you know what we think about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. We want to know what you think about it. And Brittany, how can people tell us what they think about the film?
Well, as many have done today, we've had a lot of viewership during our live stream. So thank you to everyone who has checked us out, who has joined us in the live chat. We really appreciate it. Shout out to Bricky Hallows, Caleb, Yesenia, Julie, Nick and Claire from Walking with the Woods. If I missed out on anyone, I apologize. Oh, Mama Churchwell, of course. She was here too. Corey. So thank you once again. That is the best way to participate in our live stream. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the like button on this live stream, whether it's live or the replay. Click it. Helps us out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are currently at 276 subscribers. Let's try to get to 300 by the end of the year. I think that's a good number to get to. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you know the next time we will be going live, which will be next week. We're going to be talking about Fast X or Fast 10. I don't know what to call it. Either way.
We're talking about Fast X for the second time because, yes, it'll be on streaming. Finally, it'll be on Peacock this Friday.
Yeah.
So
there's 10.
Fast 10. The Fast and the Furious number 10. It's actually the 11th movie. It's the 11th movie in the series. So Amber, if you want to be on that podcast, you've got some catching up to do. But I believe in you.
I've never seen a single one of them, and I know absolutely zero about cars.
Wow,
I'm okay.
You're breaking my heart right now, live on this
I'm
podcast.
so sorry.
Because I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Oh,
like
and
Dom
Justin's
Toretto.
also all about family.
I'm all about family. So
I know those references.
I
understood the reference.
That's all you need. Honestly, just throw the movies on. You'll like it.
Join our Watchers in the Basement family. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Yes, I'm cutting you off because we got to wrap. Also, we are on Facebook, Twitter, X. I still call it Twitter.
It's for Fast X. It's going to go back after Access review.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're also on Threads, so be sure to go check us out there at Watchers Basement. We already mentioned once before, but go show some love to Amber over on her YouTube channel as well as her Instagram account. You can help grow our audience by using hashtag Watchers Basement when talking about our show. If you want us to review something, send us memes, send us articles, send it. We love it. This is the best way to get in touch with us on social media. Use that hashtag. And lastly, if you're not into video podcasts, not a problem. We've got you covered with our audio podcast available on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Be sure to subscribe all over there and give us a 5-star rating.
That's right. Thank you, Brittany. Really appreciate it. So for Brittany and for Amber, this is Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.